If you take a look at anything, at social media, at the news, YouTube, a book, just talking with your friends, it feels like everywhere you look, someone is doing something cool, at least cooler than you are. Kane Parsons is the most recent one I can think of. He just finished directing Backrooms. That has one of the highest opening weekends of original horror film pretty much ever. And he's only 20. Then there's your friend who's already married. There's that kid who can play the piano better than anyone you've ever seen in your life, and they're only 6 years old. There's a high schooler who's already graduated college somehow. There's this college guy who's building some business and is a millionaire. Then you got this person who's blown up on TikTok for no reason other than they posted something dumb and, well, they're famous now and making a bunch of money. I don't know about you, but I feel like a lot of times I'm just behind. And I kind of know I'm not alone because I know there's a lot of people who have told me that they feel behind when they look at me. And so the more you dig, the more you look around, the more you try and figure out life and look up other people, the more you can feel like you're behind, because it all goes back to comparison. Comparison is just the worst. I mean, comparison has some good, I guess. You've got, competition in school. I think about so many times in school, I would do better because there was competition and there's someone who's better than me and I'm trying to do better than them on this score or on this test or in this homework project. Or, there's some kid who's somehow already a millionaire and it makes you want to save some money or figure out a financial plan. So comparison's not all bad, I get that. But the more you compare, the less happy it seems like you are. And the more you compare, the less you're looking at what's really under the surface. It's very easy to see the person who's blown up in this, or the person who's done something fantastic, or made a bunch of money, or gotten really successful, and it can really get you down. That's something I've noticed a lot over the past few years, is seeing like, okay, my dreams of doing this in my teenage years, or my dreams of doing this and breaking out in college, they're now not possible anymore because now I'm out of high school and I'm out of college. And the more you think about it, the more you think you're kind of behind. And I know if I'm feeling that at my age, there's a bunch of people who are feeling that at all sorts of ages. And there's not exactly a clear answer. It's not like I'm going to say something that's just going to make you all of a sudden feel better. But I think you just have to recognize that comparison can really ruin some stuff. Comparison, the more you look at it, the more you look at other people, you're not seeing the full picture. Comparison makes you look at something that is only the tip of the iceberg and you don't see what's holding it up. And sometimes nothing is holding it up, and someone who somehow shot to fame or got a bunch of success or a bunch of money, now they're not doing so great. Think of the people who've won lottery tickets who are back to being really poor just a couple of years later because there was no character and no skill and no knowledge to back it up. And that just gives me a lot of hope that if in the mundane times you build a bunch of character, then when you actually have something happen, whether it's good or great or successful or money or fame or whatever, then it's going to work out and you're going to actually be able to handle it and not do something stupid with it because you've been built up and you know what it's like and you've been building your character. I think of just so many examples from history of someone who just showed that they were going to do something and showed their integrity, and then later on in life when they made it or something happened, they were able to do something. Or even in the creative field, they actually have a bunch of ideas and actually know how to tell a story, and so when they make it, they can make a second one. It's not just a one-hit wonder or some random piece of luck. And it can feel like, everyone's just successful. And then you start thinking about the metrics of a successful life, and you think about all the people on their deathbed who are saying just, care about other people and focus on family and friends and don't worry about money or don't work as hard. And it just is hard to see that when you're actually younger. And then it feels like sometimes you have to get rid of those metrics in order to get ahead. And then once you get ahead, you can then give back to other people. Once you get famous, then you can be an extra nice guy and everyone will love you because you're famous. Or once you get, a bunch of money, then you can give it away and bless other people and be a great philanthropist. But it's kind of hard to do that and be a nice, good person and enjoy life when you're not exactly where you want to be at. And then there's also you don't want to be exactly where you're at. You don't want to be content with something that's just subpar, mediocre when there's so much more in your life. So it's an interesting thought. And to me, it's just really encouraging thinking through that anything can happen in life. Just the past year, the entire story of how I got married is unbelievable. And It's insane and it's awesome, and it just goes to show me that life will work out when God's in charge. And even for the people where God's not in charge in their life, it just shows when you're working hard, things typically work out. Now, I think in the long range of things, you got to have God involved. Otherwise, all of life doesn't make sense. But that's not what this video is about. This video is just about thinking when you compare yourself to others, you can get really down. And when you don't compare yourself to others, you can be really grateful for where you're at, and you can see a little bit of progress along the way and how far you're going. And so I don't know where you're at. Maybe you're feeling great, and I don't know why you're watching YouTube then if you feel like you've already made it in life. But for those people who haven't quite made it, who feel like they've tried really hard, but they're not exactly where they want to be at, they haven't been the teenage wonder or the young successful entrepreneur or the whatever, I do think there's something to just a lot of grit and working really hard and just keeping at it. The people that keep at it, the ones that don't give up, are the ones that eventually make it. And so if that's what you're needing to hear, then there you go. I kind of needed to hear it, so that's why I made this video.